they watching, they heard, they go, you know, the Lord putting everybody, he's squeezing this thing. Like, you got to get with it. Lord, you know, it's times, man. All right, shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we're going to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect. All right, starting with the Tabernacle of David. All right, which under Yahushai is the 144. All right, after that, you have the large multitude, the rest of the men, women, and children whom the Lord will have mercy on, man. And that body is known as the remnant, all right, according to the Holy Scriptures. Somebody get Isaiah, the 10th chapter, start at 20, all right? Which, what you see happening is, all right, a fulfillment of biblical prophecy, as we always go into. All right, in the latter days, what would happen according to prophecy? See, everybody who picks this book up, they don't want to deal with prophecy.
Right,
the Christians damn sure don't want to deal with prophecy. And there's a lot of them watching our videos and then call themselves, you know, taking notes and learning things because they disagree, but they're hearing scriptures that they never heard before. So they go and start that thing, well, yeah, the chosen people are black, you know, but then they want to still hold on to the Christian doctrine, man. And then the problem ultimately that they have with us is the prophecies.
Right. Because
the prophecies cut everything. And see, the testimony of the Messiah is fulfilled in what? The spirit of prophecy.
Right.
So what would happen with the Israelites in the latter days?
Isaiah 10 and 20, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob,
right, escaped. And what are we going to escape from? This goddamn prison, Babylon the Great. You see, hey, in the slavery times or in ancient times, when a slave escaped, what Esau would do, he would capture him. Like you seen Antebellum, you seen that?
Yeah. Oh,
what did he do? What did he do when he captured her? He said, bitch, if you ever try to leave me, and he branded her.
Right. Yep. Man.
See what I'm saying? So he put his mark on her, man. You see what I'm saying? So the devil is trying to put his mark on us, man.
That's right.
According to the Holy Bible, that's what this devil is trying to do.
That's right.
All right? And you Israelites need to wake the hell up and stop playing games, man.
That's right.
It's high time to wake out of sleep, man. All of this trying to be cool, playing it safe, being proud, it's not time for that. Yeah, it's time to acknowledge the truth. Go ahead.
That politically correct BS, man.
Right.
Like the elders going into. Like, why would you have to be politically correct about truth?
Right.
Truth is truth, man.
Right.
I feel well, yeah, it's not particularly red, but this, bro, it's red. If it's red, it's red.
Right.
I'm not supposed to dance around that fact.
Right. Go ahead.
In Isaiah 10 and 20, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob,
right,
shall no more again stay upon him that smote them.
Right. We're no longer going to lean upon this devil. We're not going to vote. We're not going to believe in his medical field as a way to salvation. Okay. We're not going to look to him to tell us who we are, when to jump, when to run, when to cry. Because that's what so-called black culture is based upon in all of the cultures of the world. Waiting on Esau to tell him what to do. Okay? When to be mad. He creates a situation in the news, you march. He got you niggas on a string. All right, he got a chicken McNugget on the string and you crawling after it, man, making a damn fool of yourself.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Like Jerry Rice, yeah, right.
The chicken wing,
man.
Low point.
Hey, because waking up to this truth, because prior to being in the truth, you basically a fool. You don't know right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? So you can be easily swayed, and that's what Esau did. He manipulated us. He put his bottle on us, okay, and then looked at our dead bodies, man, our nakedness. Go ahead.
And such as are escaped of the house of Jacob,
right,
shall no more again stay upon him that smote them.
Right, we're not going to lean on him. And then they mad at us for crying unto our Lord to deliver us out of your hands. When this relationship between us and the so-called white man has been the most abusive, disrespectful, full of lies, false covenants.
Right, that's right.
It hasn't worked out. So now we've come to the conclusion we're going to turn away from you.
That's right.
We're not out here saying that we're going to, take up the sword and take you down by ourselves. We're telling you the Lord is going to take you down, man.
That's right. How
the
hell going to take you down? I'm sorry. How going to take you down? We ain't got no drones. We ain't got no chemists to make bombs.
Right.
We ain't got none of that shit, man. We got to depend upon the Lord, man.
Right. We got some oil and it's truth.
That's right. Some incense.
Some incense, oil, and it's truth.
That's it.
See, in the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man.
Right.
See, so we've detached from you devils, and now you're mad. Like Jesse Lee Peterson saying you make yourself a beta male for crying unto the Lord when the Israel is a woman in travail.
Right.
This is not a thing of being macho and high mighty. That's the wisdom of the world. We are in a position, we need help.
That's right.
And we acknowledge that. That's what being contrite is all about.
I said, but don't you call on Jesus, nigga?
Right. Well, he don't need help. A Christian is all good. Well, you with a sick self.
But shall stay upon the Lord,
right,
the Holy One of Israel.
We're gonna stay upon him. He told us to keep the commandments to the best of our ability through faith in his son. He told us to love our brother. He told us to treat each other with respect. He told us how to eat right.
Right.
And what did it lead to? Life. So why in the hell in 2021 would any Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, in any Israelite period, trust in this devil? After all of that, you go show up with a syringe in your hand full of abomination, and I'm supposed to just put my arm out? Hell no, man. No, it's not happening, man.
The book of Job said, you are physicians of no value, man.
Right.
We have a physician, man.
Right.
Yahweh died, he shed the blood for us, man. Right. So we don't need the so-called white man and whatever he got coming, man.
Right. That's
we need the Lord, bro.
That's it. Right. That's why we're not staying on his ass no more.
Right.
You played out, you old, you ugly. We don't want to be with you. We through with you. We played the harlot already.
For real.
We're turning unto the Lord and we're trying righteousness. And look where it's getting us. We winning.
Levels,
we winning.
Beautiful levels.
More than that, we're growing as men. Here it is, we're in our 20s, 30s, and 40s, and we're learning things that we should have learned at 12, man.
That's right.
But that comes through wisdom, man. Some more?
Yeah, verse 21. Isaiah 10 and 21, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power.
Yep, keep reading.
Verse
we're going to return. And see, this is the prophecy that nobody wants to deal with. Right. They want to call us crazy, dismiss us as bugged out. But the Bible said in the latter days, the Israelites will wake the hell up out of a dead state. See, in the land of their enemies.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 22, for though thy people Israel shall be as the sand of the sea,
right,
yet a remnant of them shall return.
Now, why is that important? Somebody get the scripture where it was promised to Abraham his seed, the sand of the sea. Yep. Read that again.
Israel 10 and 22. I mean,
Israel 10 and 22.
Isaiah 10 and 22. For though thy people Israel shall be as the sand of the sea,
right,
yet a remnant of them shall return.
Return for what purpose? Why is this important according to the Holy Scriptures? Because it was promised to Abraham and his seed, Isaac and his seed, Jacob and his seed, that they would be as the sand of the sea.
Right.
For what purpose? To receive the promise given unto Abraham.
Right.
Okay? And Abraham was blessed by Melchizedek. He didn't go straight to the Most High. He had a mediator.
That's right. That's right.
Okay? You got that? Go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 13. I'm starting verse 14.
Right.
And Yahweh said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift out thine eyes and look from the place where thou art.
Right.
Northward and southward and eastward and westward.
Right. Northward, southward, east. Look. He's showing them. Look. Go ahead.
Verse 15. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed after. Let me read verse 15.
Right. Read that.
For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever.
Right, to thee and thy seed. This is a promise. Right? Now, a lot of Christians love to just jump to Abraham, but they want to cut off Isaac and Jacob. Real? Yep, go ahead. And then somebody when he mentioned it to Isaac, when he blessed Isaac. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when you read in our graphics, when you read Psalm 105, it tells you what Abraham unto Isaac, and then it will rest upon Jacob.
Right.
You know, it doesn't say Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the rest of the whole all the other different nations.
Right.
You know?
And this is what everybody's trying to run from. Read that. Go ahead.
God, I'll read verse 15 and read now. It says, for all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever.
Right.
Verse 16, and I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth.
I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, sands of the sea. See that? So in the latter days, Israel will be as the sand of the sea as promised, but a remnant return to be heirs to this very promise.
That's right.
He said to thee and thy seed, and we're going to go to where he tells Isaac the same thing, and then Jacob's going to be told the same thing. That promise and that covenant was never cut off.
That's right.
Go ahead.
It says, verse 16, and I will make thy seed as the dust of all the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered.
There you go. So you can't number Israel. You know what this tells you? A lot of people you see are Israelites. A lot of people you see that they can walk by you and you're like, that's a whatever, a heathen or whatever. A lot of those people are Israelites.
That's right.
Israel is all over, bro.
That's right.
You see?
And Esau has a nerve to call us a minority.
Right. What's a play on words within the system of Edomite supremacy? You are, in their eyes, you're a minority. You're a lesser. You're degenerate. You got that with Isaac or somebody?
Isaiah 10:22, for though thy people Israel shall be a descendant of the sea,
Right.
yet a remnant of them shall return.
Right. The remnant shall return. Go ahead.
The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness.
Right. There you go. Just type in Isaac in the search.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's another time, because Abraham basically was crying to the Lord that he needed an heir for that promise, and that's where he gave him Isaac. We don't need that, but go ahead.
You're talking about the blessing that Esau gave unto Isaac.
Yeah, read that.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 26 and start at verse 1. And there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham.
Right.
And Isaac went into Abimelech, king of the Philistines,
Right.
unto Gerar.
Right.
Verse 2. And Yahweh appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of.
Right.
Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee. It's like it was murder. Instead, it was murder. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and I will bless thee.
Right.
For unto thee and unto thy seed,
Unto thee and to thy seed, go ahead.
I will give all these countries.
Right, I will give all these countries. Now, to prove the other nations ain't involved in that, let's get that, when it bring up Ishmael and Isaac. All right. When you type, you got it? Oh. When it talks about Ishmael, but then he said, but Isaac, just type in Isaac. It's like the first 2 times he's mentioned,
This is Genesis chapter 22, and this is the book of Genesis chapter 16, chapter 17, excuse me, verse 20. And as for Ishmael,
Go up, read up. Find a good spot.
18.
Yeah, Genesis chapter 18. I'm gonna start at verse
17, you start at 18.
I'm gonna start at verse 18. And Abraham said unto the Most High,
Right.
Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
Right.
And the Most High said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac.
Right. They should call his name Isaac. Go ahead.
And I will establish my covenant with him
I will establish my covenant with him. Go ahead.
for an everlasting covenant,
Right. For an everlasting covenant.
and with his seed after him.
Right.
And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful,
Right.
and will multiply him exceedingly.
Right. He's going to get a blessing. Ishmael got a blessing. And the Lord is fair. Right. Go ahead.
12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
Right.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac. Okay. Now go back to where you were. We'll read that one more time, and then we'll get Genesis 35. And this is the foundation of the Bible. The promise that was made to that particular seed and how they would get it. Okay?
It's the book of Genesis chapter 26. I'm going to just jump down to verse 2. And Yahweh appeared unto him and said, Go not down to Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of.
Right.
Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee,
Right.
and will bless thee.
Right.
For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries,
Right.
and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham my father.
Right. Right. Now let's go to Genesis 35 and 10. Because that was a promise. That was a promise. That was an oath. And the Most High said, I swore on myself. You see? So we're not just out here screaming and crying. Look, we're coming into an inheritance. We happy as hell. We see it. We like, oh,
This is us?
we be those people. We're the only one crying for the Lord to establish the covenants back on the earth, man. Woo.
You want to need help.
That's all.
Oh, no.
Go Go ahead.
This is Genesis 35, starting at verse 9. It says, and Yahweh appeared unto Jacob
Right.
when he came out of Padanarim
Right.
and blessed him.
Right.
And Yahweh said unto him, thy name is Jacob.
Right.
Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob,
Right.
but Israel shall be thy name.
Israel shall be thy name. Go ahead.
And he called his name Israel.
Right. Yasharallah. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And Yahweh said unto him, I am Yahweh Almighty.
Right.
Be fruitful and multiply.
Uh-huh.
A nation, a company of nations
A
shall
nation
be thee.
and a company of nations. Go ahead.
Shall be of thee.
Shall be of thee, meaning come out of your loins.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
And kings shall come up out of thy loins.
And kings shall come out of thy loins. Go ahead.
And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac,
Right.
to thee I will give it, and to thy seed after thee.
To thee will I give it, and to thy seed after thee. Okay, so nobody has a problem with the so-called Jew actually going over there and saying, this is my land. And actually having wars and putting people to death. Bro, the Palestinians, they own most of that, which that ain't their land either. All right, but they own, it shows a map of how much land was lost from the time 1948 came till now. They basically took all of the land. Now, vocab doesn't have a problem with that. Nobody has a problem with that. They're justified in actually taking up the sword through a Balfour Declaration and taking the land, but we can't stand on the corner and say that the land belongs to us.
Through prophecy.
Through prophecy.
Through spirit of prophecy.
Because there's a way the Israelites would get there.
Right.
Okay? Under Yahushua, because the next Israelite government, all right, that's going to take place on this earth is going to be under the Messiah. You see, the last one was under David and Solomon. Okay? And we know how that ended up, man. So, read some more. Right? Read that part again.
This is back in Genesis 35, verse 12. And he said, and the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac,
Right.
to thee I will give it, and to thy seed after thee
Right.
will I give the land.
Right, and they're going to be as the sand of the sea in the latter days. That was to Jacob. So Israel, in prophecy, where are we? We're at the place where the Israelites will wake up. They will come back to the understanding of who they were to be heirs to the promise. You hear that in the New Testament, heirs. All right, go ahead.
It's the book of Psalm 105. Start at verse 5. Remember his marvelous works that he hath done,
Right,
his wonders and the judgments of his.
right,
O ye seed of Abraham, his servant,
right,
ye children of Jacob, his chosen.
right. You see, the Christians, that's where they cut off. They stop at Abraham. And then they want to play all of these mind games and we blessed with Abraham. As if Isaac and Jacob just don't exist.
That's right.
And that's how we grew up listening to that madness, man.
That's right.
And we had no identity. We had no real true connection to the spirit. Now that we heard the book, we always in it. When have you been this dedicated about something, man?
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. He is Yahweh our power.
Right.
His judgments are in all the earth.
Right.
Verse 8. He hath remembered his covenant forever. The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations.
Right.
Which covenant he made with Abraham in his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law,
Right.
and to Israel for an everlasting covenant.
Right.
To saying, unto thee will I give the land of Canaan,
Right.
the lot of your inheritance.
Right.
That's the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
It's an everlasting covenant.
Right. Right.
It wasn't going to be broken, man.
Right.
He
Right.
said he was going to remember it from 1,000 generations. Bro.
Right.
He's pretty much saying like he ain't going to forget it.
Right.
It's not going to change.
That's right. Everybody wants to talk about heaven, but nobody wants to talk about how it's going to be set up. Nobody's talking about the throne of David. Nobody's talking about the Yahushua reigning on the earth, the 144, nothing. It's just heaven.
It's a process, man.
Right.
Oh, yeah, this is Galatians chapter 3, verse 16. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made.
Right.
He saith not, and to seeds, as of many, but as of one.
Right.
So that's an indicator, hey, this blessing ain't for everybody, man.
Right.
Only Yahshua.
Right.
But as of one, and to thy seed, which is Hamashiach.
Who was an Israelite, and it was promised that he's going to be the one to gather us back. Even in Genesis, it said, to him shall the gathering of the people be. He's our high priest, man. Okay? So the narrative doesn't change in the New Testament. It's just that that seed had been scattered.
That's right.
According to prophecy. Get that in the curses, Deuteronomy 28 and 64.
Got it, right over there.
See, the Bible is history, prophecy, all right, law, statutes, commandments, instruction based upon the chosen people of the Most High.
Right.
You have other history books, we agree.
That's right.
Okay? You have nations who have valid history, right? But at the end of the day, it all coincides with the scriptures, and the scriptures is just the focus from the chosen people perspective.
That's right.
Going all the way back to Adam, who was the son of God, and the sons of God through Seth. Okay? That godly line who was to uphold the ways of righteousness but fell away. Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 16.
Right.
The portion of Jacob is not like them.
Right.
For he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance.
Right. The Most High is the former of all things, but he put a special spirit upon Jacob to where we're the inventors, we're the top inventors, the top creators, got the most salt. But see, our people want to attribute it to carnal things like melanin and this and that, which melanin is just just to being black excellence. They don't want to give credit to the Most High through his son. All of the tribes, man. Because it ain't, the tribes ain't just so-called black people, man. As you can see, the so-called Mexican, Native American, and Latino and so-called tribes, they're raising up in these latter days. Which means what? They're fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
You can't just take away their sacrifice because you don't like how they look. What a nigga you are, man.
Yeah, if I can say this, a lot of Jakes is giving Jake hell who like once they find out their mom is of another nation,
Right.
oh, they not black.
Right.
Yeah, only two parents could only two black parents can make a black child. For one, you ain't black, and for two, the man carries the seed.
The man carries the seed, but the thing is, you have mitochondrial DNA as well, which nourishes the seed. So you take upon the physical characteristics of your mom.
Yeah, which she gets from her
But
dad.
it's still, see, you can go to China and plant an apple seed. And now it may come out different in shape, color than one that you planted in America, but it's still an apple.
That's right.
It's still an apple, man. That's the bottom line. The seed, which the man holds the seed, what's the big deal? Why is there so much friction that the man has the seed and determines the nationality? Why are you so mad about that? Women have a beautiful role. Just accept it.
You just hate so-called black men, don't you?
Right.
Damn.
It's like a funny thing we always say.
Right.
The funny thing we say is like, man, if you put kittens into the oven, are they going to become biscuits?
Right.
No, they just going to be burnt kittens at the end of the day. man.
Right.
But it's
Mad
like,
as hell.
Mad as hell. But at the end of the day, the point is that the man carries the seed. Man.
Right.
You are what your father is. So when it's all said and done,
Right.
when a man can have sex with a Moabite woman, an Elamite woman, an Elamite woman, whatever the case may be,
Right.
that seed is still Israel.
Whether you like it or not, and it happened. And it all whether you like it or not, it happened. Because I don't like the heathen women, but hey, I'm a man. I like Israelite women. But you have particular brothers they may like, they like what they like. What I'm the police to do? Hey, who's in there? Hey, Jing Lee, get your goddamn ass out of there. Suspend them. Yeah, man, what type of shit is that? That's that man's business.
Yeah, Jay Lee.
Right, Jing Ling.
What's that? What was Rehoboam?
Right, right.
His mother wasn't an Israelite.
Rehoboam's mother was an Ammonite.
Yeah.
She was a high-level Ammonite belonging to an Ammonite king. She was the daughter of an Ammonite king. So how did his son get past the throne? How did Rehoboam, get passed down to the throne when his mom was an Ammonite?
Right.
Because he's a Judite.
Rahab the harlot.
Right.
She's in the line. She's in the genealogy. Well, she's mentioned in the genealogy line of Yahushua.
Right. She's a Hamite. Right.
Along with Ruth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not even.
Wait, no.
It's not even anything to argue about. I mean, damn.
Well, the argument is us, like you always say.
Jake be mad at him? Like, damn.
The argument is the so-called black man telling you what it is.
That's the problem.
That's the
the
problem.
biggest problem.
Hey, and
It's like straight so-called.
Yeah.
Because a gay so-called black man can stand on the garbage can and piss on, curse everybody out, and he'll get an award.
right, because that's why the Lord, he's shaking up the spirit in a lot of our men now, man.
Right.
That man, people
Right.
really got a problem with us for
Right.
speaking our mind.
Right.
bro.
Now that don't mean that heathen women, especially those Cushites, ain't beautiful. I do like them, but like the white woman, I'm not into the white woman. You know, I'm not into the white woman, not into Moab. You know what I'm saying? But some brothers may see something that they like, and that's on them. That's their business.
And in the kingdom of heaven, the
Right.
heathen are going to give their first
Right.
fruit daughters
Right.
over
Over
to
to
the
us.
men of the
Right,
Lord.
right. Straight up, because the problem with the heathen was that when we got with them, we married. You're not supposed to marry a heathen. There's an order to a concubine.
That's right.
She's a wife through what? Bondage.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Which that's for a kingdom, but at the end of the day, your Israelite wife was on a higher status, but you had concubines. And concubines, you mostly see them mentioned with kings. Because they had the substance to have concubines and things. They had substance, they had land. King David,
Yep.
and he had women of the other nations. Now, his sins, all of his sins were mentioned, but why wasn't that one mentioned? Solomon sinned by bowing to their gods. David didn't bow to the gods of the heathens. He just,
And
did,
then, and then Esdras, in the book of Esdras, when the
Right.
men were going off,
they were going on.
they had to what? They had
Right.
to leave off from them women.
Bro,
and the
they were raising their children up speaking the heathen language and not the Hebrew.
Yeah.
So it was like, no, put their asses away. Even when we were taking the land, the Lord said, don't marry amongst those Canaanites.
Right.
You see? We'll get all of that back once we get our kingdom established and everything. Then we won't have to argue about these type of things. But you're not supposed to marry a heathen. Basically, she brings her, you know what I'm saying?
To the table.
And you compromise, Molech's in the corner, y'all eating and drinking. No. That's what Solomon did. Adam, right.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead. Anyway, let's get back to the scriptures.
Deuteronomy 26, the curse
Yep.
of honest speech.
Yep, absolutely.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28.
And if you mad, whatever. I don't care, man. It's too late in the game. The white man for the roll on your ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, tough.
You sit up there mad. Get your ass out of there. Go ahead.
It's Deuteronomy chapter 28, I'll start at verse 63. And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh will rejoice over you to do you good,
Right.
and to multiply you,
Right.
so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you,
Right.
bring you to naught.
Right. These are the curses, which vocab wants us to stay under the curses. He said the Lord cursed Israel and now has opened up a nationality covenant. Right. The multinational covenant is the Israelites, no matter where they are, all right, who were brought back to the Heavenly Father through grace. Okay, they may be in all nations, but they're Israelites. Go ahead.
God, it says, and ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Right.
And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people.
The Lord would scatter you among all people. That's why when you read the New Testament, you hear among the heathen.
Right.
Because this seed, who would be as the sand of the sea, would be just, the Lord would just shake them up and throw them out into the earth. He detached us from Jerusalem. After 70 AD, pretty much we've just been scattered. After Solomon's reign, we've just been split as a kingdom and scattered.
Just drifted.
Drifting. You
Yep.
see?
That's right.
You got something?
Well, I got like 3 verses. Do you want his first?
Verse 64, it says, and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of earth even unto the other.
Right.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
There shall thou serve other gods. And that's when you read the New Testament, those Gentiles who have been scattered among these different nations around about Greek, the Greco-Roman Empire. Because there's a lot of history you gotta go into.
Right.
First of all, you gotta go into the Maccabees. To understand the Gentiles, you must read the book of Maccabees. You have to have a firm understanding in the Maccabees to understand the Gentiles.
That's right.
Because that's when they were Hellenized and fully just went all the way left. And they had children. They raised their children in Greek custom. All right? All the way up into what? The point where Cornelius and the rest of the brothers, they started to wake up through the preaching of the word.
That's right.
And on a example.
Right.
And then an example is I know this brother know Giannis Akatempo.
Right.
Giannis Akatempo. He's a Benjamite. But what's his nickname? Greek the Freak. Right?
The Greek freak.
Yeah, the Greek freak, but what? He's a Benjamite.
That's right.
Just like who? Paul was a Benjamite. Where was he at? Right? It's very simple, man. A lot of y'all just like to be part
Because
of
you're the Gentile,
assholes,
right?
man.
You're the Gentile.
Yeah.
Here it is, you're in America. You woke up eating hot dogs and your spaghetti. Tripping. Eating ribs, just bugging the hell out, man. Having no clue who you were.
The lunch meat demon.
Right, look at that lunch meat demon, the baloney. And then here it is, one day you hear the word of the Lord and you wake up. That's what was happening to the Gentiles, man.
Right.
Why is that so hard to understand? That's the wild olive tree, meaning they weren't cultivated in the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. There's a particular way you cultivate an olive tree. But the wild olive tree weren't cultivated, which is what? The law, statutes, and commandments. They were scattered among the nations,
right.
serving other gods. That's why First Corinthians 12. Yeah, you got something real quick?
Oh, I got you.
Okay, go ahead. Well, damn, y'all with these long. Go ahead.
I'm gonna make a point real quick. He talked about that wild olive tree.
Right.
You know, we got wild plum trees in the country.
Right.
And they're little. You know, they kind of fickle. You know, they little, but they produce plums.
Right.
It's a nice plum tree to pick, wild plums, but they're small. You know, it's very feeble.
Right, because they haven't been cultivated.
They ain't been
Right.
cultivated.
Right.
You go to a plum orchard where a farmer actually grows plum trees. The plum tree is probably, you know, the size of my body.
Right.
The trunk of the tree.
Right.
And it's got big plums on it.
Right.
And then those little wild plums, it's you know, the trunk is very small. You know.
Very interesting.
That's
Very
why-
interesting.
I was gonna say that's why the Lord called us in the book of Jeremiah. He said he turned to a degenerate vine,
Right.
a strange plant.
Get
You
that.
know, we became wild grapes.
Wild grapes, wild olive tree.
Yeah.
You camps got to get with it, man.
Yeah.
Y'all still stumbling over that when you fulfilling that. You didn't grow up knowing you an Israelite.
Right.
You grew up watching wrestling and shit, tripping, bugging out, bro. Eat
Bugging out.
fucking cereal now later.
Captain Crunch.
Just a painted square, candy coated, colored square. You just eating it, laughing at it with joy. Yeah, honey buns, you know, barbecue ribs, McRibs. You know. So you are a Gentile. You are a Gentile, man. You are among the heathen, celebrating Christmas, worshiping idols. It's that simple, man. Go ahead.
Gun. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, start at verse 1. It says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren,
Right.
I would not have you ignorant.
Right.
Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols.
Ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols. Read that again in Deuteronomy, Baba Shah.
Deuteronomy 28:64. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Right.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
There shall thou serve other gods among the heathen. Okay? Among the heathen, man. Among the Gentiles. That's what happened. That seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, there's a prophecy that they would be scattered among the nations and they would serve other gods. All right? But there's a promise of redemption that through Yahushai, they had a way back.
Right.
That's what happened. And those Gentiles who were Israelites, as they're among these nations, just like you, what did they do? They heard the word. They heard Yahushua being preached. And they said, damn, I got to come back to Yahushua. Ain't that what's happening with you? But then you want to say that the Gentiles are the heathen nations, man.
Well, who are you then, nigga?
Right.
What are they saying now?
Well, just Jake, period. Shit. Jake has an affinity for wanting to say that we're the Gentile. The Gentiles are the heathen and all of these various different things that everybody is added to the covenant. But no, there's a narrative according to the Bible that we have to follow, man. Go ahead. Somebody.
I had a precept in regards to the
Okay.
regardless of marriage and how they would serve the other. How we serve the God.
You go. Yep. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 7. I'm gonna read verse 3 to 5.
This is the main problem with Israel dealing with the heathen nation is bowing to their gods. Now, real quick, that's the argument that the heathen, because that was the big thing.
That was a big thing.
So if the argument is that, what nation of women lead the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American man into the churches and to other gods in this time? So should we do away with them?
Right.
Not deal with them?
Right. This is the Israelite.
This is the so-called black woman. Come to church with me. Or the so-called Mexican woman. To repent to Jesus Christ. The signs are in the sky. Bullshit, man. Yeah. They into all of these different gods and idols and right?
Right.
They deep.
The so-called black woman is into witchcraft, man. Heavily. They've left, a lot of so-called black women left the Christian church and are into witchcraft, Wicca.
And that's why the Lord's going to destroy a lot of y'all, because the Lord what? Suffers not a witch to live.
Right. Witches. Black Lives Matter is rooted in witches, witchcraft. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, I'm going to start at verse 2 actually. And when Yahweh thy power shall deliver thee before thee,
Right.
And when Yahweh thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them.
Right.
Thou shalt make no covenant with them,
Right,
nor
this is-
show mercy unto them.
Right. No mercy. This was the Canaanites, right? Because we were supposed to get them up out of there.
Yeah,
Completely. Annihilate. The Lord said annihilate their ass. But Jake, go ahead.
Right, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Right.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son,
Right.
nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Right.
For they will turn away thy son from following me,
Right.
that they may serve other gods.
Right. It's best to see the thing too with a concubine is she believes in your God now.
Right.
See what I'm saying? She get the law on the concubine, and what's that? Deuteronomy, 20 something. Yeah, when you conquer a nation, basically, they're not able to continue forward in their gods. That's the end of your God.
Right.
Everything you knew and believed before this, cut it. You with me now. So, going into the land of Canaan, we weren't in that position, man. So you guys don't understand the Bible. A lot of you are just in your emotions, man.
That's right.
I'm going to get that word marry real quick.
Yep.
That word in the Hebrew is chatan.
Right.
Which that word marry says to give one's daughter in marriage,
Right.
to take in marriage, to give daughters in marriage to one another.
Right.
All right. Join affinity. So pretty much whenever it's the difference between marrying and getting into marriage with the different people,
Right.
versus having them, like the elder said, as a concubine.
Right.
You know, when you marry and you intermingling your family, you're pretty much joining your family with their
Right.
family, making a covenant with their family.
Right. Right.
So with that in return, what's going to happen, man? You're going to be eventually making covenants with their gods
Right.
too.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's right.
That's why it's important not to marry. He wasn't to marry the
Heathen, right. They're usually wives through bondage.
Right.
And then you even had concubines of your own nation. A poor family would sell their daughter off into your household to enter, and that is still a lesser wife. All right, but it's an Israelite woman. But ultimately the concubine does not have the rights, all right, or authority as your wife. That's an Israelite that you marry and y'all come together. Because marriage, there's order in marriage. You have different scenarios where men may have taken a woman, but ultimately there's supposed to be a feast. You know what I'm saying? You announce yourself to the city, you know, and then that night it would be consummated by sex. You see what I'm saying? But if you do that with a heathen, their family, if you ain't got them in check, which Solomon was supposed to have them in check, and he still basically started building, all right, temples to their gods. Now, if he did it for an Israelite woman, for the God of Yahweh, you know, it would have been good. You could build your woman in the kingdom. Shit, I got the kingdom. You can't tell me what I can't build my woman. I'll be like, oh, come here, baby. I'm gonna show you. You know, I'll be having, you know, but deck my women out. But see, he just did it out of order. You see? Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10. I believe this is one called.
Right.
When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies,
Right.
and Yahweh thy power hath delivered them into thine hands,
Right.
and thou hast taken them captive,
Right.
and seest among the captives a beautiful woman.
So you take down your people, and now they're captive.
That's right.
Meaning now they follow Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Go ahead.
and has desire unto her.
Right, and you see a beautiful, little Cushite sitting over. Oh, ooh. Help me, sir, please. You see it, you're like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
You just got through slaughtering, you know what I'm saying? And you see her, she, shining skin. You're like, oh man, yeah, I can work with that. You know what I'm saying? So what would you do? Go ahead.
That thou wouldest have her to thy wife.
Right.
Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house,
Right.
and she shall shave her head and
Right.
pare her nails.
Right, because hair and nails in the ancient world was associated with witchcraft and idol worship and different gods, and especially that hair and them nails too.
Clip.
See, but ultimately she would shave it because it's a renewal. You with me. From this point, every hair is gonna be on your head. It's gonna be grew under my roof. Right. You gonna have to put off the gods because for that month she gonna be mourning.
It'll be 30 days.
She gonna be sad. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
God. This is verse 12. Oh, Salaki. Verse 13. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her,
Right.
and shall remain in thine house,
Right.
and bewail her father and her mother a full month.
Right, because they just got slaughtered. They threw.
Right.
You know?
It's almost like, I'll give you a month.
Right.
Don't cry, weep.
Right.
After
Right.
that, back to the
Day
kitchen
29,
and
day
bed.
30.
Right. And it's not like, too, another thing, brothers, it's not like they're sex slaves.
That's right.
They're just, they forward your enterprise. They help you out. Hey, if anything, they're in a better position than a lot of other, the other heathen women.
That's right.
They in because what do you? Why would you, as a man, beat a woman you lay with? You, bitch, beat her up because she's a heathen. What type of crap freakism is that? You got her hanging somewhere.
Body shots.
You walk in, no man. She gonna have to smell good. You gonna want her.
I thought of
Right?
Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon.
Right.
When he was in there and he was shocking him.
Right. Just torture them. Yeah. What type of freaky shit is that?
Esau shit.
Nah, man, we don't have sex slaves. Ain't our thing.
That's right.
Really, we're classy.
Right.
Now, could we have them for our pleasure? Absolutely. We're men. All right. But they're ultimately going to be forwarding, our kingdom. They're going to be servants, and handmaids. Just nursing our children. Hey, we finna ball till we fall, man.
And it's gonna be done in order, man.
Order.
Under the order of Yahweh Bashim Yashah.
Right.
Because under this rule, bro, all you could do is really just pay your rent and shut the hell up here. That's all you could do.
Right. True.
He always, the scripture says that the laws, statutes, and commandments will be written in us, so this is going to happen.
Right.
For all you guys talking about, there ain't going to be no sex in the kingdom, or this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Well, this law is going to be fulfilled in the kingdom.
This Edomite bugging out. He got a stick, dude. Yeah. Read, finish.
Okay.
And I don't even know how we got on this subject. I guess it was the spirit. The spirit. Go ahead.
This is back in Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 13. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her,
Right.
and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month.
Full month.
And after that thou shalt go in unto her,
Hey,
and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife.
there you go.
Right.
She's just a lesser wife.
That's right.
All right, because a concubine is a wife. It's just a lesser wife, usually through bondage. You had Abraham had concubines. You know what I'm saying?
So this cuts you Old Testament Negroes as well.
Right.
Like we say, man, bro, the natural choice of the so-called Israelite man is gonna be the Israelite woman. It's just, but hey, we got options. The Lord, we do it in order, man.
Yep. And in the kingdom, we won't have these arguments, these disagreements with our women, and trying to prove that we really men. That's only for this captivity. We ain't gotta see. The problem is really, it's like you said, it's a straight so-called black man saying it, and y'all have been so used to this Western. But once it's all said and done, you women are going to be happier than you ever have been under us.
That's right.
Under us.
Under us.
Man.
It's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be ordered.
They're gonna look for you.
It's not going. Yeah, it's not going to be no thing. We walk in the house screaming, kicking. You know, no. Because you got to think. Just imagine the wives of the 144. They're going to have. See, in rank, the wives also have a rank too. The wives of the men of particular ranking men, they were held in higher esteem. So just imagine how chill we gonna be.
That's right. It's kind of like it's like Sarah was.
Right.
Not gonna-
And Isaac was balling.
Yeah.
You're not gonna experience, y'all ain't gonna experience birth pains.
Right.
None of that. Hey, the laws, statutes, commandments gonna be written in y'all too.
Right.
So,
They're
it's
gonna have
not even
spiritual
gonna-
capability to a degree.
It's
you know?
not gonna be in there. It's not even gonna be in your mind to
Right.
even think about. You're not even gonna even know what rebelling even means.
Right.
You're not even gonna know what it even is.
Right.
You're just gonna be. You're
Perfect.
Gonna be 100% righteous.
Spiritual
servants.
capability. A woman with spiritual capability. Come on, man.
You will be able to be a woman finally.
Right. Finally, man.
Yeah, finally.
Because this is wore your asses out. Y'all walking around here with them edges and shit hanging off the side of your head, rolling your eyes.
You're a bunch of gremlins.
Hurt, man. Hurt. And the men are hurt. This
Yeah.
hurts, man.
Yeah.
This captivity we found out following the serpent ain't the way.
Yeah.
That's right.
To hell with that nigga, man. And his tail and his tongue and all that shit, man.
And it's
Go ahead.
This Lamentations chapter 1 and 3. It says Judah is going into captivity because of affliction
Right.
and because of great servitude.
Right.
She dwelleth among the nations.
She dwelleth among the nations, man. Go ahead.
She findeth no rest.
Right, she find no rest. Among these nations, thou shalt find no rest, man. Go ahead.
It says all her persecutors overtook her in between the straits
Man,
and the calamities.
man. Among the heathen, man. Go ahead.
It's the book of Hosea, chapter 8, verse 8. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles
Right.
as a vessel where there is no pleasure.
Right, now somebody type in among the heathen and just find something in the in the New Testament. What's that, T? Hell yeah. Water, brother. If that was that hot cocoa, yeah, I couldn't get that. But
I can get
what you got?
I got a Deuteronomy chapter.
If you got it.
Okay, okay. This is Salaki. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, starting at verse 1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse,
Right.
which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
Right. 'Cause
Whither
Moses has read to them.
Yeah.
These are the, this is the covenant. These are the stipulations, But he said, knowing in spirit,
Yeah.
in the latter days, once you read this, you start to come back to this. Go ahead.
Whether Yahweh thy power hath driven thee.
Right.
So that means we scattered. Verse 2. And shalt return unto Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice
Right.
according to all that I command thee this day.
Right.
Thou and thy children with all thine heart.
That's what's happening now.
That's right.
Us and our children. You got brothers' children. Shalom.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It may not be in its perfection, but it's the spirit of the Lord working, man.
That's right.
The Lord said in the latter days, us and our children will come back. Go ahead.
With all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3. That then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Yahweh thy power hath scattered thee.
There you go. Among all of these different nations. Now, you got something?
You said pull up among the
Yeah,
nations.
among the heathen.
Okay, this is
In the New
Numbers.
Testament? No, get it among the heathen. Find it because they need to hear it in the New Testament. Among the heathen or among.
Devout man.
Yep, read
Devout
that.
man.
Yep, Romans 1 and 5. Start at Romans 1 and 1.
Right.
This is
Start at Romans 1 and 1.
This is Romans 1 verse 1.
Right.
It says, Paul, a servant of Yahweh Mashiach,
Right.
called to be an apostle, separated unto gospel of the Most High.
Right.
It says, which had promised afore by his prophets in the Holy Spirit, concerning the Son, Yahweh Mashiach,
Right.
our Lord, which was made of the seed of David.
Right, which was made of the seed. He's talking about the Israelites, man. he's talking about the Israelites, and he's writing to Israelites in Rome. Get that part to the saints somewhere. It should be like verse 3 or 4.
Here it goes. It's according to the flesh. Verse 4, to declare the Son of the Most High with power according to the Spirit of holiness by the resurrection of the dead, whom we have received grace and apostleship for obedience of faith among all the nations for his name.
Among all the nations for his name. Now, where is that part? To all that be at Rome?
That's like the last chapter.
Yep, go ahead.
I jump right to it.
Yep.
This is Romans 1:7. It said, to all that be in Rome, beloved of Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
To all that be in Rome, beloved of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Because you had Israelites who were in Rome, who heard the preaching of the word, and they turned back. Those are the Gentiles, man.
That's right.
Being grafted back on to something that they were already a part of.
That's right.
How do you get grafted back on if the heathen were never a part of it, man? How can they get grafted back again? Go ahead.
It says back in verse 7, it says, beloved of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, called to be saints.
Right.
Grace to you and peace from Yahweh our Father.
Right.
And the Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach.
Right. Now type in among the heathen. Yeah, somebody.
I got a precept.
Go ahead. Yep.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 13. According to verse 16.
Right.
Verse 15. It says, for ye have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of the Most High and wasted it.
Right.
And profited in the Jews' religion above many mine equals in mine own nation.
Right.
Being more exceeding zealous of the traditions of my fathers. But when it pleased the Most High, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, to reveal his Son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen.
That I might preach him among the heathen. Paul wasn't sent to teach heathen nations. He was sent to teach, all right, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai among the heathen, where Israel was scattered, leaving off from those idols, man. And that's the same thing we're doing. You got something? Yeah. Go ahead.
This is Galatians 1. I'll start at verse 2. It says, but when it pleased Yahweh, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, to reveal his Son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen.
Right, we just read that. Oh,
It's the Spirit one.
I conferred not with flesh and blood.
Right. I got it. Go ahead.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 9.
Let's just get Ezekiel 37 and read a little bit of that, and then we can close it up.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 9. I'm going to start at verse 13. The point is in verse 15. It says, then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to my saints at Jerusalem.
Right.
And here he hath authority from the chief priest to bind all that call on thy name. But the Lord said unto him, go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel.
There you go. Wow.
Bro, man.
Right. That's right.
Bro, that was the message was to go to Israel, whether it was to the Jews that knew that they were Israelites, which were called the circumcision, or to those who didn't know that they were Israelites, which were considered Gentiles by the circumcision.
Right.
That's where the hang-up comes from, right? You had the Jews who knew that they were Israelites calling the Israelite foreigners Gentiles because they were following the customs of the heathens that were around about. They're like, these people can't have access back
it says they can't have access back to the Most High. They're cut off. They're castaways. There are no people.
Like, just think about it. Think about the customs that the heathen had our people doing from the time of Maccabees that the elder mentions, like temple harlots.
Naked. You got to think, even the Maccabees was looking at Jake like, y'all niggas tripping. Y'all some sellouts. They even some of them to death. Yeah. They was not effing with Jake. So that had been a tension going all the way back there. Hundreds of years of just Jake being nasty, but then you had a remnant of Israel, of like Levites and Judah, Benjamin. You had some of them who stuck to the way. They were sellouts. A lot of them eventually started to sell out. But ultimately, that's how we were able to keep, somewhat of at the time Yahushua came.
Just imagine, bro. Just imagine you seeing a Jake that got tattoos. He's over here celebrating these different religions and these different sacrifices to these gods one day, right? And then he hears the teaching of Yahushua, and then the next day, or probably like the next week or something like that, you see him, and he's over here listening. He like, he getting into the scriptures like, man, they're probably like, man, hold on, we just seen this cat.
Right.
Butt ass naked, you know what I'm saying? What the hell is going on here?
Well, that actually happened with Paul when he was somewhere, and when he got back to Jerusalem, they saw him with one of the, I don't know who it was who they saw him with, but they rolled up on him like, you know what I'm saying? Right. They was ready to, some people was telling Paul, don't even go back to Jerusalem, bro. Don't go, man. They gonna kill your ass. And they pulled up on him and made him offer a sacrifice.
Oh yeah, because
they ran up on him.
I think he had the vow of the Nazareth at that time. He actually had they made him. He did a sacrifice.
Yeah, because he was. Imagine the position he was in. They're like, you teaching people to rebel against the law? Show them you down with the law. I was supposed to do it. It was Acts 21. I was supposed to do a video on it. But that's what happened, man. You got something? I got something.
Yeah, the second Ezra 2:5. It says, as for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, which would not keep my covenant, that they bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil. Let's talk about our Israel, our people. It says that there may be no offspring of them. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen.
That's what happened, man. That's what we're here to tell you. It was promised, though, to Abraham, your seed will be dispersed. It was promised to Isaac. It was promised to Jacob. Go ahead.
Hey, and that's mercy, too. Because the Heavenly Father could just do away with the wicked niggas, man. We don't deserve to be here, in a sense. Because we was wicked, man.
That's right.
He was hot in Hosea. Lo ami. You're not my people. He ain't rocking with y'all. A father disowning their child.
But he let them grow. He let them continue to reproduce. They got scattered. Israel continued to multiply in the earth. The Lord could have just cut their line off.
Then he said, if the sun and the moon is in the sky, then seed is still here.
That's right.
Then he affirms you. We got it because you would bug out. What if my father was a heathen? You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is you doing this. It's like this is a testament you're an Israelite. Because it said that the Israelites would do this. So that comforts you. Like, well, damn, I came to the understanding I'm fulfilling this prophecy. I got to be an Israelite. That cuts off the burden of the flesh. Go ahead.
That's why Yahushua is so important. Like we read in the book of Galatians, it says, to thy seed, which is a Mashiach, is through him, is the gathering of all the outcasts of Israel, as well as those from other Israelites. Look to Isaiah the 11th chapter. That's why Yahushua is so, and that's why he's so important. And for him to come on the scene and do that, there's nothing what kind of greater man can do something like that for us? He worthy to be praised, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got people trying to X out the Messiah as if he's just this regular Israel.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Downplay him.
But you about to meet him, though.
Soon come. You'll see the whole world will be on one. That's right. The whole world. That's right. Go ahead.
It says, let them be scattered let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let the names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant.
So he took his name off of us, but in the latter days, as we read, a remnant will return. Though Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant will return to be heirs to that promise, man. Okay?
Ezekiel 37:10. So I prophesied as he commanded me.
Right, and who's he prophesying to? Dry bones. Which the dry bones represent the Israelites in a dead state. Their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Go ahead.
Real quick. Ezekiel 37:3. And he said unto me, son of man, can these bones live?
Right, can these bones live? Because he in the valley of shadow of death. Go ahead.
And I answered, O Lord power, thou knowest.
Right.
Verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me.
Right, and Ezekiel is symbolic of the prophets who will be among the nations prophesying. Go ahead.
And the breath came into them.
Right.
And they lived and stood upon their feet.
So as the prophets prophesied, these breath will come into these bones. the flesh will come up on them.
Sinews,
Sinews. You see? Go ahead.
an exceeding great army.
Right.
Then said he unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel.
Right.
Behold, they say our bones are dried,
Right.
and our hope is lost. We are cut off
Right.
for our parts.
Right. Because they would be scattered, and then the curses would kick their ass.
Right. Right.
The only way to reverse it is righteousness, coming back to the Lord. And that's even still a process.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 12, therefore prophesy, saying to them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves,
Right.
and bring you into the land of Israel.
Keep going.
Verse 13, and ye shall know that I am the Lord when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves.
Now, where were we really dead at? I mean, here, but mentally. Basically, he gave us access back through his son.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 14, and shall put my spirit in you,
Right.
and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land.
Right. Which was the promise.
Yep.
The promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Keep going.
Then shall you know that I, the Lord, have spoken it,
Right.
performed it, saith the Lord.
Right.
Verse 15, the word of the Lord came unto me again, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions.
Right.
Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim,
Right.
and for all the house of Israel, his companions.
Right. This is the 12 tribe sign. Because as we went out among the nations, the Lord wrote it in the story, we would have this sign.
That's right.
And let's prove it. Keep going.
Verse 17, and join them one another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand.
Right. Join them together on one stick, which is a plank of wood when you go into the Hebrew. Go ahead.
And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these?
What you mean? You know, when we saw it, whether it be on the video or whether we walk by, we'd be like, what you mean? I'm a so-called Negro, you know, so-called, you know, what is this? Go ahead.
Verse 19 said to them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is the hand of Ephraim,
Right.
and the tribes of Israel, his
Right.
fellows,
Right.
and will put them with him, even the stick of Judah,
Right.
and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand.
Right, he's going to close up the breaches. That's the tabernacle of David.
Yep.
That hadn't happened since Solomon. Okay?
When
That's
the kingdom was
right.
all in solidarity.
All in solidarity. That's, you know.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
That's what
keep
it
going. Keep going. It's a little bit more.
And these sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes.
Right, it was before their eyes.
Right.
They would see the 12, the sign. They're going to be looking.
What's this? What you know by this? What thou meanest by this? What is
Right.
this?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 21, and said to them, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen.
Right. Whoa. Read that again.
Ezekiel 37:21, and said to them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land.
Right. Go ahead.
And will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel.
Right.
And one king shall be king to them all.
Right. Go
And
ahead.
there shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all.
Right. Now read that part about where it says Jacob and I shall give them the land. It's probably one of the next verses, and then we can close it out. I know the brothers. Okay.
Man.
And I shall just keep reading from where you was at.
Verse 24. Verse 23. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things.
The idols. Remember, they will be scattered among the heathens, serving idols. That's what separated us from the Heavenly Father, man. Go ahead.
Nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling place, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them.
Right.
So shall they be my people, and I will be their power.
That's the new covenant. Go ahead.
And David, my servant, shall be king over them.
Right.
And they all shall have one shepherd.
Right.
They shall also walk.
And we
in my
know what did Nathan tell David? The one who's going to sit on your throne is going to come out of your loins. So a lot of people like to jump to this. See, David's the Messiah. No, Solomon, Yahushua is the Messiah, the throne of David, but Yahushua is going to sit on it.
That's right.
That's the shepherd, man. It's David's throne. So even within David is fulfilled the throne of David. Who's going to sit on that throne according to prophecy? Who did Nathan tell? Did Nathan say, you going to sit on your throne and rule forever? No. Your son, who comes out of your loins is, man.
Can I make a quick point?
Yep.
Even when you go into shepherdry, that's even a word, I believe it is. When you go into shepherdry, you have shepherds that tend to the flocks, right? But within the shepherds that tend to the flocks, you have somebody that's called the chief shepherd, which the other shepherds report to.
Right.
Pretty much he's over the shepherds. So Yahweh Shai, it says David is going to be a shepherd for the people, but you want to have that chief shepherd, which is Yahweh Shai, which is going to be over everybody.
Right.
You know, because the Lord promised unto David, he swore an oath unto him that he would be a king.
Right.
You know, you can read about that in Ezekiel 34.
Right.
You know, but Yahweh Shai is the one
Right. Right.
that's going to be the man.
Right. David tells you that himself in Psalm 72. Challenge any of y'all, who watch and read Psalm 72 and tell me how is that Solomon? Yeah, but how? When? When was that fulfilled?
Yeah.
That's going to be fulfilled through Yahweh Shai. Let's keep reading, then we can end it off.
And David my servant, Ezekiel 37:24, and David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them.
Right.
And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant.
Woo!
There you go. We'll start off with.
We brought it back. Remember? Abraham, his seed, Isaac, his seed, Jacob and his seed were promised a particular land. So as we're out here, we're here as hopefully we're that remnant to be heirs to the promise.
That's right. That's right.
He said to you and your seed, all right, which means they're going to be there. Go ahead.
And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant,
Right.
wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever, and my servant David shall be their prince forever.
Woo! Yeah. Hey, call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. So with that, we're going to give all praise. Hopefully y'all edify. We'll give all praise to Yahweh
Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation as always to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.
Man, we should have got some of the precepts.
I have Isaiah chapter 45 verse 17.
Yeah.
But Israel shall be saved in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
They was going in too.
Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end.
World without end. Call hello, y'all. That's what we